This is video 3 for January 22nd, 2009. This is only 3 with a smiley face. That was an interesting experience I had, especially after having brushes with death 3 times in my life and then being able to have visitation. But what did I ask? I asked about the prophecies of Nostradamus. And I had asked him that if I'm going to be able to have understanding and be able to talk to people of the world about these prophecies and other prophetic writings, I would hope that he would bring them into my life without me having to go out and get them on my own. Because I don't run out of my way to go pick up books on many things. If it was meant for me to see or read, I would let it happen in my life. In other words, living out something on guidance from above. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, well then, we try not to make it happen. That's not supposed to be. Some people do. And sometimes that screws up the broth of life, so to speak. Well, anyway, I would have my first close contact with a clairvoyant other than me that would come to work in my office at the end of 1995 after this event had taken place. I never would repeat what I had asked God and that question until later on in life, until certain events unfolded before my eyes. Well, since people had told him about my ability, and I was told about his ability, I went up to him and I said, okay, if you're a clairvoyant, read into me. Tell me what you see. He stated to me that in the coming year, I would study on the man Nostradamus. And he said what was very unique about this reading is that's the only thing he could see on my life. Well, during the year of 1996, I received a lot of information on Nostradamus in ways of gifts. 3 books on this man during the year. I discuss about that number 3 and what it means in prophecy and spirituality of God and actions of humanity or mankind and how they deal with each other and prophecies of life in that aspect. Like what took place on September 11, 2001. Then as life would go on, I'd be introduced to different other prophetic writings or spiritual writings such as the Bible Code, the Mayan calendar, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Hopi Indians, the Lady of Fatima prophetic writings or future events, Saint Malachi, and how they had to deal with what I was taking in and trying to understand what this is all about. I know many people out there had some understanding of what lifetime and we're living in. Well, in 1999, and I would be open about prophecies of Nostradamus for a while now with various people, and we were coming up upon, I should say, July of 1999 that Nostradamus wrote in his quatrains. Century 10, Quatrain 72, where a powerful and alarming king will come from the sky. that we were waiting for. People would ask me, are we going to war during that time frame? I said, no war. No war whatsoever. But I was waiting to find out what this king was all about in 1999 of July. Were we really going to get bombed in New York City like that movie had stated? I denied that fact. Not during this time, later on. Sure enough, nothing happened of drastic proportions during that month, but there was one event that took place. There was a young man by the name of John F. Kennedy, Jr. He was traveling with his wife and his sister-in-law. Funny thing, 3 people in a plane that would crash on July 16th of that year. That was a powerful and alarmingly king that came from the sky. He was a king in his own right. His bloodline was royalty of Ireland. He lived in the White House for his first 3 years of his life. The White House of the President of the United States of America. His father, who only served in the year, or in 3 years. He was assassinated, and we know, November 22nd, 1963. Was this what Nostradamus was referring to? He talked about many events concerning the Kennedy family, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Sr., and Robert Kennedy. He talked about many other aspects of life as well as metal fish that we know now as submarine. We know of all other writings out there, like even, let's say, Leonardo da Vinci had painted many paintings. Michelangelo and the Codex. Well, during that year of 1999 in July as well, I would run into certain friends from my hometown in New York that I haven't had contact with people for over 30 years except for one person I grew up with and the rest of my family. That person would eventually introduce me to the Bible Code CD. I had already been introduced to the idea of a Bible Code back in 1997, and a movie about it by the author, Michael Drosnin. Before this person would bring this CD to me, I stated that to my friends that I watched that certain movie with in 1997, and to this person of this time, that I call Rose, as her name, for animosity reasons I do many things in this book. It's not important as to who these people are or who I am, but rather the message that's in this book. I stated that if you looked up my name, Homie, Prophet and Vengeance, that would unlock the whole code of the Bible Code. And if you look at the latest book on the Bible Code by Michael Drosnin, hey Michael, if you're listening, that's the key to unravel the code. At this time, I say, may God bless and come back and listen to more of certain events that took place concerning this book and why I wrote this book. Thank you again for listening.